Let's get it. Today we're talking about the Bitcoin monthly close, why it's so important, and what to watch out for in the next few days. So let's go. What is up, everybody, and welcome to the Crypto Cabin. My name is Tom, and in today's video we're going to be going over the Bitcoin monthly close and why I think that is something to be watching out for over these next few days. If you're new to the channel, please scroll on down, leave this video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and click that little notification bell and select all so you get notified when I post these new videos. So without any further ado, let's jump right in here. First of all, let's start out by talking about, is this the bottom? I mean, there are a lot of potential markers indicating that it could be. When we go back to the daily time frame, for instance, we can see that we have some bullish divergence on the momentum waves and a really big green dot. So when we get this nice and set up here, you should be able to see that we do have bullish divergence on the momentum waves. This means higher momentum waves as price comes lower. So you should be able to see that. We had a green dot there, the first one there, but price is coming down. So as price comes down, momentum waves come up, we get this bullish divergence and the green dot there. Last couple times this happened was back here. So at the bottom of the last kind of capitulation down from the first big run up to the 60K mark. So again, you can see price decreasing there. As price decreased, we got some bullish divergence there, and then we started going back up again. Last time, the very last time this happened, again, we kind of had it starting here. So price is coming down there. And then we did have a little rally to the upside, not nearly as big. This one was kind of a little relief rally. It did end up getting up about 40-ish%. So I would not be surprised if we see a little bit of a rally for the next little while, potentially coming back up to retest this 30K mark. But I do think there's still more downside to this market to be had with all the fundamental things that are going on in the world right now. But from a technical analysis standpoint, we could be seeing a little bit of a relief rally here in the shorter term. When we come over to the weekly time frame now, I remember talking about this in one of my previous videos, is that kind of the third momentum wave down with a lower momentum wave and a green dot at the bottom has marked the bottom of the cycles the last couple times. So we had one momentum wave, two, and then a third one even lower. A couple weeks after that, or I guess when we got the green dot, a couple weeks after was actually the bottom. So the bottom actually came just before the third green dot, but that third green dot kind of marked the trend, at least sideways, for consolidation. Now, it did appear that we were going to get this a little while ago. We'd had a green dot printed back here in the end of May. It didn't stick around. So now we are looking for that third green dot, but when you look at these other momentum waves down here, this is starting to look very similar. Again, it happened here in 2018, 1, 2, 3. And then we've got the potential for it happening again here, 1, 2, 3. Like I mentioned in this one, there was also the start of the red in the money flow, which we are in. So that's another thing that is lining up. The stochastic is also super, super low on the RSI. So from a weekly standpoint, that is something that I am looking out for now, is the final print of that third green dot to indicate that we in fact potentially have bottomed. Another thing people are looking at on the weekly is the 200-week moving average, which today is sitting at right around $22,428. And historically, whenever Bitcoin is below that price or this green line here, it has been a very, very good time to buy. We do not spend a lot of time below this price level historically. You can see back here in 2020, we spent a little bit of time below there. About 2 weeks we were below that. Back in 2018, December 2018, we wicked just barely below it back there. And then as we keep scrolling back, we did wick down below it again a few times back here in 2015. So historically speaking, I know I just made a TikTok about this the other day. This is what I'm talking about. Historically speaking, we are in a very good time to at least dollar cost average, not necessarily go all in at one time. I never think that is a smart idea, but historically speaking, this is a great time to be start dollar cost averaging for sure. We do have, a lot of things going on in the world, obviously, that we could continue to go lower. But I know that this is an area that I personally feel very, very comfortable dollar cost averaging into, while keeping more cash on the sidelines as well. Moving over to the monthly here, which is kind of the main purpose of this video. We kind of went over a couple shorter time frames. The daily and the weekly are still, depending on your perspective, are still fairly long-term time frames. But when we move over to the monthly here, this gives us a pretty big picture and what's going on here. So potentially we have bottomed. Reasons why. Last time we bottomed, you can see, was right here back in December of 2018. And you can see that when we did bottom, the momentum wave was just barely starting to go negative. So if I put a vertical line right here, make it red because that marks the bottom, that momentum wave was starting to just barely go negative. If we say that this is also the bottom, you can see again, the momentum wave is just barely starting to go negative. We could go on for another month or so, but if it were to play out the same way that it did last time, this is looking similar to the last time that we bottomed. That means that we could go sideways for another few months, obviously, before we start to see upside and see a green dot on the monthly time frame. That is purely from the TA side of things. Obviously, that's not factoring in anything going on in the world in regards to inflation, interest rate hikes, supply chain shortages, all that sort of stuff. So we also need to look at where this month closes. So when we look at this line here, this is the 50-month moving average. It does move up and to the right, which is great, but it has never closed below that line. Right now, we are very, very, very close. We are at $21,420 approximately as of the time of recording of this video. The 50-month moving average is at $21,341. So we are very, very, very close. If we do close below this, well, we'll talk about that maybe in the next video. But just know that we have never closed below this line yet, and that is why I am watching the 50 or the monthly close, and watching this 50-month moving average to see where we close in relation to that. We have wicked quite a bit below, which we did this time as well. Percentage-wise, this wick below was 25%. Percentage-wise, this wick below was not nearly that much, but still pretty close, 18%. So we have wicked below it. So this is potentially, this is the C dump there. So this is potentially reminiscent of that. If we did get maybe a bit of a bigger push to the upside, the candles could look similar. However, this candle is starting to look to me a lot more like this candle right here. So we could have a little bit more downside, obviously, after that for another month or so, which is what I was talking about when we got into the momentum wave at the bottom. Or the similarities there. It doesn't look quite the same as the momentum wave. It looks like we could have a little bit longer to go before we kind of reach bottom, obviously. So that's what I'm thinking. But like I mentioned previously in this video, dollar cost average territory, I think that is the spot that we are in right now for sure. If we do close below this line, like I said, we will talk about that in my next video. So that is all for today. Thank you so much for watching, team. If you got some value out of this video, please scroll on down, leave this video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and click that little notification bell, and select all so you get notified when I post these new videos. I appreciate each and every single one of you. I'll see you next time on the next episode from the Crypto Cabin. Let's get it.